All right, we're on. Welcome to the show. Let's go. Oh, that didn't work.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Man, the intro video for MLB The Show 21 that they play like when you're in the waiting screen, so cool. It's like, I don't know, just the way it is like built and the songs that they put into it, it gets you like really hyped. It's like, like when you're really hyped for like a football game or baseball game, you're like energy is like
That's
through
how
the
I am
roof.
at like 1:30 in the morning. I'm hyped to get to the gym.
That's what it feels like, dude. That's what it feels like.
Unless you forget your headphones.
Then it's like negative hype. It almost makes you want to like go back. You're like,
it did, but I was like, I ain't got the time. Let's go.
All right, you ready?
Born ready,
Sorry,
baby.
I gotta keep that like
born
to my
ready.
because it's like really big.
Maybe we'll get a sponsor.
I got an ad for it actually on Instagram. I haven't even said the name but once. I got an ad for it on Instagram. I'm like, dude,
It's all that AI.
it's gotta be.
It's in your mind. You're thinking about it, and it's like, bam.
It's got, dude. You know what it is? It's the vaccine in my taste buds.
Oh, it's the microchip they put in there.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to the EF5 podcast, the crossroads between logistics and life. And today, what we're going to talk about is a little bit of what we have talked about before, and talked about before that,
We talked about a lot.
and talked about it before that. We talked about it a lot of times.
And that's the bottom line.
It is. It is. So what we're going to talk about is a little bit of what we've already
we talk
talked
about.
about.
What we're going to talk about?
That's it.
Goodness.
That's it. That's it. There's nothing else to say. We're going to talk about what we're going to talk about.
That's how we talk.
So I'll let you kind of like take the reins here in a second. But basically what it is like the things that we've said were going to happen, did they actually happen? Did industry really pick up as much as we thought it was? Or did, outside like
Sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Did we really show up and did the world keep going after the presidential election?
Right. Or like,
That worked.
did sporting events open? Like, did things like
Oh,
this
yeah.
go? Is this stuff that actually happened? And, some of that might be a little rhetorical for the people that are keeping up with, life. But some of it is also stuff that a lot of people don't know, such as, the industry. A lot of people don't really know the industry. So, I'll let you take the reins and kind of go off of, the note-taking that you've had and things like that from the previous episodes and see how accurate we really were.
Well, we're midway through quarter 3 now, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And so we threw out at the beginning when we were cutting this, it was in the middle of chaos with the election, how the president was going to affect the election or not,
That was like the first video.
Number
too,
2.
wasn't it? Number 2?
Yeah, we did the intro on number 1. Everybody had to
Oh,
know
but
who we were.
that's right, because we filmed
Right.
the first one, or we filmed number 2 first, and then the intro.
Is that what we did?
That's what we did.
Don't tell everybody the secrets.
I ain't a secret no more.
I'm waiting for you to go live, but that button it never works. So we can
Sorry.
take phone calls.
And we can take phone calls right now. You just got to tell them to hit us up,
Call my number. It's everywhere. You
That
can
is
find
true.
It.
It is everywhere. It's very hard to find. Anyways.
And then episode 24, we hit quarter 1. We're kind of midway. When we do these predictions, we're kind of like in the moment, looking at the moment and forward.
right.
So quarter 1, we talked about the dirty word of inflation, job cost, the constant argument back and forth about paying unemployment, not paying unemployment, what that looks like, how that was going to affect the salaries and cost of living. We kind of recapped that. Talked about the equipment demands, how manufacturers weren't making equipment, what that would look like specifically to the trucking industry and the supply chain industry, planes, the ships, how all that was going to bleed into when we open back up. And then as we got into quarter 2, we touched on the fuel going up, the imbalance of supplies versus the demand, and everybody's seen traffic get off the chain.
Right.
So everybody can understand we're moving. We're back at TSA's reporting numbers that are beyond 2019 numbers.
Mm.
So if we haven't had the production levels, that causes the impact for jet fuel alone.
Right.
Just one example. We touched about the housing market, the price of the demand driving the price. The last episode we just talked about the used car lots and what that looks like. And through all those, just go back and take a look at it. It will show that we kind of know what we're talking about here.
Right. So we were accurate
on everything.
We didn't lie. We didn't make stuff up. Okay, that might be a lie. We might have made a little bit up, but we weren't wrong when we made it up. Things like that. I mean, we were pretty on point.
We took a swing at the prediction and hit it.
Yeah.
If you go back and look, you find something, throw it down in the comments.
For sure.
Tell us that we were wrong.
For sure.
But in my summary going back, we were 100%. 100%.
I mean, collectively, we've watched the video back 4 times, so I don't know if it's really wise.
If this guy ever watches this, he always talks about 100% Fridays. We were 100% Friday through the weekend, all the way through the entire week.
Absolutely.
That's how we roll, 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Some people roll Fridays 100%. We roll every day that way.
Hey, Fridays are the best days to go 100%.
Oh,
wait. No, I was going to say casually. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I had to give a shout out to him.
Well,
he knows who he is. I'm not bringing his name up.
All right. That's your choice. That's your choice.
Let's see if he watches it and picks up on it. But as we look at quarter 3, we're seeing all those things come at us right now. As we're going into the quarter 3 and the end of the year, we're seeing something that I'll go out and say that a lot of people haven't been saying is all other events. We talked about this recently that have been dynamic in the world have created a stoppage in the moment or a slowdown.
Right.
What we've seen happen that people aren't understanding is a complete depletion of the supply. Mm-hmm. Used cars, chips, whatever.
Right.
And I'm talking about the chips that go in the phones, not chips you eat.
Well, I'm sure there's a little bit of that too.
Hey, look, I've heard of so many crazy things that they can't get. I'll name 2 off-the-wall things. Tequila and other liquor and beer is out of supply.
Interesting. Didn't know we were going there. That's kind of interesting.
Boots for women for motorcycles.
Okay, that is very
can't
off
find
the wall.
them.
I didn't know you could find them to begin with. I mean, prior to 2020, so this is crazy.
Some women drive motorcycles.
Now it's even more rare than it was before.
So, I'm not talking about just like this T-shirt we got on, that lovely elite T-shirt, but everything, everywhere.
Right.
We've depleted the whole supply chain in the entire time, the supplies within the chain, and the entire time we have not increased the volume to the way we depleted the volume.
Right, and as you said, I mean, as the start of 2020 kind of happened, or the start of the lockdown happened, it wasn't just businesses that shut down, right? At a very, very broad level, I guess it was. But it was a shutdown from the tabletop maker to the bolts that hold the tabletop together.
And there was some production, don't get me wrong, but that production was so low scale.
Right, that it was basically not producing.
In a sense, you just go in and say the production wasn't there.
Right, no, exactly. And that's like, it's crazy to think how from literally the top of the chain to the bottom was gone.
And then people
months.
Don't realize that, okay, so you have the dynamic, you've taken the supply out. You have the dynamic that you weren't replacing the supply at the levels that you were taking it out. You might have been feeding some of it. Now you have the return for the demand.
Right.
So you already had a low supply. Demand is increased off the low supply, and you cannot get the supply fast enough. And then so now you're coming to zero supply. So now how do you replace that? You put in action to replace the supply, but you got to move it.
Right.
So now we have virtually in the United States, I can't name of a port that does not have congestion now. A seaport or an airport that from moving supply in and trucks that just read a minute ago, trains are out of capacity now. And we haven't even begun to put the scale of supply back into the system.
Right.
And in some arguments, we haven't even
began
the demand.
Right.
So, like, there is not a 2 months down the road end in sight.
Right.
And what's generally frustrating to me, and I'll just say it outright, is we're hearing right now in the last couple days, and we're cutting this July 20th, so hopefully we'll get it out soon. But in this week alone, at the start of this week, we're the economy's falling. We have this new variant. We have all these things, and it appears that we're going to take a step down.
Right.
I can tell you, in the world we live in, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
There might be little bumps, but with what we just laid out, and then the whole other discussion of the airplanes, the boats, the manufacturers, and the equipment and manpower to do all that,
right,
it is a huge challenge right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we spoke about it in episode 24, 44 specifically of what was to come, and we're living in it right now. We're living in the cost of a truck driver, everybody specific in the industry shooting up. We're living in the equipment not there. We're living in fuel prices shooting up. And I'm not trying to say doom or gloom. I'm just sharing what the new look looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Where finally what we spoke about then was shippers not understanding that.
Right.
Now they're finally understanding that and realizing to complete the order, they're going to have to pay and do what it takes for that to happen.
Right. And something that you mentioned, actually, before I even get into that, just as an aside, I never realized like port was like the root word of
Yes.
like airport. Because when you said seaport, then it like clicked. I was like, whoa.
It finally went off for
like,
you.
that's
That's good.
crazy.
I'm glad you got that.
I was like, that is crazy.
I'm excited for you.
I never thought airport was like a port for the air. I just thought of it as like it's just the word that you use, like, you know, the plane garage. I don't know.
It feels like to me, being in the industry, like the port is the sea.
Yeah, that's what I kind of like
And
envision
then
it
you put
as.
the air in there, and it like totally changes
Yeah,
the
you're
word.
like, wait a minute, like, wait.
Wait, they
whoa.
go together?
Yeah, dude,
oh,
that's what I was thinking when I hear port. I think like, you know,
a boat.
Charleston, Brunswick,
Yeah, exactly.
things like that, not
And
Jackson
look,
or Hartsfield Jackson. Or things
you brought
like
up Charleston. Yeah, I just got off the phone with a lady in New York, Charleston, Savannah, Jacksonville. Every single port, seaport, has congestion, lack of chassis. They can't get the containers off the boat, and that's before we get the supply where we can use it.
Right, absolutely.
It's really insane what's happening, and everybody says, quote unquote, never seen this. Well, of course, we've never depleted the system.
Right.
So what's to come
I was
is the
about to
big
ask,
question.
is there an end in sight? Like, do we see this being the new norm? Is this just a very, like, is this just going to be like a small blip on the radar and then we get back to, like, normal industry stuff? Like,
I got to be 100% on this call, right? Because we're been 100% to this point.
I mean, you can't be wrong now.
I'm gonna be like the lady who was the 100% lady where she knew Bin Laden was, right?
Sure.
They called her the 100% lady.
Mm-hmm.
The CIA agent that knew where he was.
So you better be 100%.
She was 100% sure he was in that house in Pakistan.
You better be 100% sure in whatever you're about to say.
I would say I'm at a 99.9% guess it is for at least the next year.
Okay.
This is developing into the new normal.
Right.
Just because there's not a default out.
Right.
I mean, we can put more planes, we can put more boats into action and do things, but there's still just the process of doing it.
Right. And sorry to
the demand's not changing. The
Right.
demand's only going to increase. And whatever new variant, we still have the vaccinations. We still have people living more healthy lives.
Right.
So there's a lot of change that has happened that's
Mm.
going to help hopefully cut off any new flare-ups of things.
And you spoke about the demand that's across everything, whether it be the demand for the items, the demand for the time, or even the demand for the workers. You said something about truck drivers are getting paid at what feels like an astronomical level to what the bottom level really is, or what it feels like.
What it used to be, I mean, literally 3 years ago versus what it is today, it's a whole different marketplace.
Right.
And you could even argue 2 years ago, it's a whole different marketplace.
Well,
And
what's crazy about it too is that it's not like the workforce has like expanded and gotten to that point of where they've earned their keep of the money. It's shrunk, and the turnover rate is still super high, right? So
it's a little bit out there because you have the crossroads of should I pay or should I not pay, and then the reality of it is the market is changing, so you better pay.
right.
So you go back in episode 18, we talked about culture, and if you haven't built your proper culture, then you don't even have to worry about paying because they're already gone.
Right.
The first step is making sure you're taking all the taking care of the priorities in the house.
Right.
And if you got that down, then you're probably aware of what's coming. And that's what we've been talking about for 6 months now.
Right.
And we've been trying to educate our customers. This is what it's going to look like. And we have a great customer base, and some had to educate their customers, but overall, they took what we shared with them 100%.
Right.
And realized where we are today.
Right.
It's been kind of cool to see, and you can argue the other side. Maybe the industry of, even from a fast food standpoint, of all the industries that are struggling because of a quick turnover, because the pay's less and they're getting more somewhere else, maybe they've been underpaid.
Right.
Maybe one side of the argument on my end in this industry is maybe we haven't never paid the drivers for what they can do.
Right.
I mean, I really feel like that with my guys because they're awesome. And so I've always tried to make sure that's out of the equation because we're a different level of service to what we intend to do every time.
Right.
So long story short, for us, everybody, and I'm proud to say this with us, we were in a position that everybody got to raise everybody in the building. So and it was all well earned, and it was through our education with our customers. So it's coming to the system whether you want to or not because of lack of experience that's there, or because the current company can't wrap their head around or what they should be paying in the market now.
Right.
And that goes back to what we talked about in both episodes of inflation. So where's that going to be pushed around? It's coming back into the cost. And then with the money supply, there's a lot of economics that go with that. But overall, we see, in recapping what you asked, we see not much change into our current look in the supply chain, the demand, and the supply that's in the system for at least a year. I mean, if you just kind of walk what you're looking at, there's so much supply needed in various industries, and there's not the mechanism to get it out that quick.
Right.
There's just not. Whether it be from the physical production of it, whether it be from the movement of it, or whether it be from the actual building it back up because you put all your parts together.
Right.
We're seeing so many imbalances in the supply chain.
Well, what's crazy is you said that we're gonna be looking at this for about a year at at the minimum, right? I mean, what's funny is we're actually
fuel's going to increase again, so be prepared for that.
We're coming up on almost a year of this podcast.
That is true.
With I believe
like
September, November, October.
I think it was October.
Somewhere in that three.
October, November.
I mean, it would have been cool if I looked it up prior, but I'd know the generality of the time is in that 3 months.
Because we're 100% on the fly.
That is true.
Most of the time come in here with no notes. That's how knowledgeable we are.
That is true, actually. That's why we don't talk about anything that's happening, like, newsworthy wise, because
everybody's tired of hearing that crap anyways.
That's true. It's all doom and gloom.
What happens
Absolutely is.
that affects my life? Like, how's that affect my life?
Right.
So in short story, we talked about it. You're buying furniture, you better go buy it now if you want it later.
Right.
Because you ain't getting most of what you want when you walk into the store.
Mm-hmm. On top of that, and if you order it later, you definitely ain't getting it for a long while. Because, I mean, you mentioned it when we were at lunch today. And like you said, if you order it, let's just say in May, and you're not getting it till September. Well, what if you order it in September? But now you've got the backlog of May to September of any other thing in between.
Absolutely.
And it's just like it's inconceivable. But yeah, I mean, like I said,
It's the new normal.
the new normal, exactly. So I mean, like I said, we've been coming up on a year. It's crazy with this, right?
Look, things are going to change, so you just got to have a mindset to see what's in front of you and be open for the change.
One thing that's never going to change, though, is the fact that we're going to be on your computer screens or on your
And
phones.
at some point, we're going to do this.
Just like that, we did it. At some points reached. But make sure to like, subscribe,
He just did
comment, share, all those things.
Don't do that. That's offensive to somebody somewhere.
You got anything you want to add?
He's throwing gang signs.
You want anything you want to add to the end of this?
No, I appreciate everybody checking it out. We've had a lot of conversations. Please leave a comment, share it.
I'll
Tell
tell you one thing.
everybody we're the 100% guys.
Make a playlist on your YouTube for all those that have the accounts, which is very minimal, as I found out. For all of you who don't have accounts, make accounts. Create a playlist of every prediction video that we've
Look,
had.
we're trying to get Cole a sponsor.
But yeah,
Everybody loves Cole.
Essentia.
And so he
Right.
put a bottle up here. So maybe this fancy water that's real cheap at Sam's.
Was it really cheap, actually?
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't cheap when I bought it in Philly.
Well, nothing's cheap in Philly.
It was like a $3 a bottle.
Buy it at Sam's, your local.
Your local Sam's.
Yeah.
Your local small Sam's.
Yeah, we're promoting
Mom and Pa
Sam's.
Sam's.
I don't know if Costco's got it, but give it a shot at Sam's at least.
But yeah, make a playlist, put these prediction videos in, come back next time when we're here in the fourth quarter, and we're going to ensure the fact that what we said was true through the full 12 months of the year. Does that
That's
sound
it.
good?
We didn't talk about too much that specific, but in short, you're going to see a lot of the same and a little bit more volume of the same. You're going to see more issues with fuel, more issues with job cost. You're going to see more issues with the supply chain. That includes equipment and all the stresses that come from all the things we love.
I'm going to hit you with one last thing before we leave.
Bring it on.
I'm just going to let you sit on it. You don't even have to answer it. You can if you want. But in our 2021 prediction video, we said that by Thanksgiving, or I said that by Thanksgiving, planes would no longer mandate masks to be on the plane. And you said that they would.
They will.
You still hold on to that?
Absolutely.
I still hold on to mine. All right.
There's a rationale behind it because, generally speaking, the world is not ready for everybody to travel.
But we'll find out if that's true or not come Thanksgiving, which one of us is wrong. I'm choosing this hill to die on. I'm letting you know right now. I'm not giving up.
Spring of next year.
Spring of next year?
Yep.
My Lord. All right, we're going to have to end this one here because that shocked me. I did not expect that answer. So, all right. Be sure to do a like, subscribe, comment, and share it.
Click the like button.
We out.
We out.